Welcome, everybody. Today's art business webinar. My name is Patrick. I'm making sure all of my little things are working here, so just bear with me for a second, and then we'll get into it. I run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts. I've been doing that for years and years and years now. And we run these webinars like 3 days a week. You know, essentially one of the things that we found is that, you know, we can put stuff up on a website and we can send you emails. And, you know, many of you see that we send way too many emails, but we can send you emails and say, you know, read on our website or go watch a video or whatever else. But the most effective form of communication, aside from being in person, face-to-face in today's day and age, are webinars. It's the next closest thing to being in person, right? By the way, it should come as no surprise to most of you that the most effective way to sell art is in person, face-to-face, and the second most effective way is over live video like this, where you can talk to your prospective buyer. So we like running these webinars on, you know, in that sense that somehow we drew you into the Art Storefronts ecosystem. You're like, who are these people? What the heck do they do? How the heck can they help me? Do they know what they're talking about? Do they talk with authority? Is there anything that I can learn from them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So that's what those sessions, or these sessions, I should say, are designed to do. So today, being that I run the marketing department here, I usually like to grab a marketing topic that is top of mind, that I think a ton of artists and photographers struggle with, that is a topic du jour, that's seasonal, whatever the case may be, and then get into it, unpack some various different things, send you some resources after the fact, and then after I'm done ranting, I usually like to open it up to Q&A. You can ask any question you have, anything about anything that we do, anything that you're struggling with in your business, any questions you have about the art industry at large, big picture. You know, one of the interesting things that we have going on is we have a little bit over 10,000 customers now, and I get to see all of their data, and not just, you know, who sells the most and what they sell for and all of that stuff, which is awesome, but also I get to look at the analytical data. So I know who's selling from traffic coming from Instagram, or selling from traffic coming from Facebook, or coming from Google ads, or Facebook ads, or Instagram ads, or TikTok, or Pinterest, or any of the rest of them. And it allows me to call BS on things very, very quickly, because there is a lot of BS circling around there about what actually makes art sell and what's important to do and what you can ignore. For instance, I've never seen anybody sell anything from Pinterest. Not ever. You don't need to spend a minute of time on Pinterest. SEO is largely nonsense. Aside from your name, you don't need to worry about SEO. Anyone that tells you they're selling a ton of art from SEO is lying to you. It is bullshit. Okay, and I look at this all day long, and yet I hear all these things that artists are being sold all the time about it's so important, and yet I don't see any of my 10,000 customers doing anything with it. So I like making those calls. I'm highly opinionated, and I like to shoot from the hip. And what I wanted to cover today at a high level, and then after I'm done, by the way, we'll go right into Q&A. So you, as the thing rolls along, you know, in the bottom of your Zoom window here, there's like a little chat box thing. So if you want to throw questions in there as we're rolling, I can address those directly, or we'll just go into the Q&A after the fact. But the topic that I wanted to talk about today was this concept of that I like to call like turning buying questions into selling conversations. Okay, and in my experience, it's something that happens to all artists and photographers, and it's something that you all need to get way better at. Right, when someone tells you that your work is amazing, that you should start a business doing this, that you're so incredibly talented, that you created this piece that reminds them of. Those are all examples of buying questions, okay? And oftentimes they come in person, face-to-face. Occasionally they'll come on social media in various different capacities. And if you want to be a successful artist or photographer, in my estimation, you need to learn how to turn those types of questions into selling conversations. And so I'm going to give you some insight on how to do that. And what that potentially looks like. But before I do that, I feel like I really need to equip you with two other points that are very, very important, okay? And that almost no one ever talks about. The first one is pricing, and then the second one is the 3 ways to grow in art or photography business, okay? And the particular force multiplier in this niche that not enough people talk about. So let's talk about pricing first. It's my argument, okay, that all artists, all photographers should be set up on the same plane, essentially. You need prices from 0 to 100, okay? You need things in that range. Non-wall art needs to be part of the lineup. We'll get to that in a second. You need prices from 100 to 1,000, and you need prices over 1,000. Okay, and it applies equally to absolutely everyone. I also believe that artists and photographers need to always be open to take commissions. Okay, whether you have any interest in actually doing the commission, to me, is utterly, totally, and completely irrelevant, because what opening yourself up for commissions does is allows you as the artist or photographer to discover something that people are willing to pay you money to create, okay? This is a fantastic way in which one discovers new niches, new ideas, new creative endeavors, new directions to go into. So whether you want to take the business or not, it's my argument that all artists and photographers need to be open to it. Okay, so on that range of pricing, having that, there's a number of reasons why it's really, really important. The primary reason is, number one, not having non-wall art as a part of the lineup. Not everybody is ready to buy wall art right now. Okay, they're just not. They could be in between houses. They could be ready to move in 2 years. They could not have bought their first house. They could be downsizing. There's a whole bunch of reasons. But if you only have wall art and you attract someone into your ecosystem, okay, and they're not interested in buying wall art right now, they're going to leave. They're not going to purchase anything. And the data says they are never coming back. So unless you have something to sell them, you are not going to create a customer, okay? And you are not going to get an email address, and you're not going to have somebody that you can market to in perpetuity, and you're not going to have somebody that goes home with a piece of your art that they can look at and contemplate when they are finally ready to buy a piece of wall art. Very important concept. Also, there is a thing called the socioeconomic bell curve, okay? And I should have it pulled up because I have a pretty little graphic. I'm not ready, so I don't have it. It's a socioeconomic bell curve. Everyone knows what a bell curve looks like, right? It's a bell. You have the folks that don't have any money or resources at all, so super low socioeconomic status. You have lower middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals. In my experience, doesn't matter who you are, art storefronts is a business, you guys, any of you as individual artists, you're going to inevitably end up attracting people all over that bell curve, right? What does everyone always say? Biggest bunch of BS. I just want to attract high net worth buyers. Yeah, you and every other business on the planet. Turns out that's really, really hard to do, okay? So what inevitably happens is we get marketing and we attract people in the entire socioeconomic bell curve. Totally normal, totally okay. It's incumbent upon us to have something for everyone on that curve, okay? All of these folks are people of value, and the reason being is the socioeconomic bell curve is not a fixed entity. Inevitably, people move up and down it their entire lives, okay? The ones that are on the low end of the scale today, 10 years from now are going to be on the high end of the scale, and everything in between. Your job is not to worry about that, okay? You don't worry about that. All you worry about is having the range of pricing and having something for everybody such that you can acquire the highest number of customers possible. Why is that important, all right? Why does nobody talk about that? There's only 3 ways to grow your business, you guys. There's only 3. Count them. 1, acquire new customers. 2, increase the what we call AOV, average order value, of when that person does purchase. So let's say you're selling originals at $1,000. The second way to grow your business is now charge $2,000 for them, okay? And the third is to get that customer to come back and purchase again, right? And pretty much everyone only talks about and only ever focuses on number 1. How do I get new customers? How do I get new buyers? How do I get my art in front of new faces, right? What very few people talk about is how am I going to increase my AOV, okay, my average order value. And there's a number of creative ways to do this. The most simple, raise your prices, bundling stuff, right? Asking them if they want to buy something before they buy the thing. And then because they bought the thing, do they want to add to their order, right? And that's a fundamentally really important part of software. All the e-commerce providers, we provide it for free. A lot of the other ones charge you a bunch of money for it. But the easiest way to think about it is, in marketing jargon, everyone talks about the McDonald's story. In the beginning, McDonald's just sold burgers, okay? Then they're like, how are we going to increase our AOV? And Ray Kroc, who bought the McDonald's from the McDonald's brothers, these 2 brothers in San Bernardino, California, I think, said, I have an idea. We'll start making fries. And every time someone orders a burger, we'll ask, do you want fries with that? And then shut up, right? And so that's what they would do. People would come in and get a burger, and back then, let's say it was $2, and the fries were now 50 cents. So instead of getting $2 per order, McDonald's was getting $2.50. You multiply that by that type of volume that they're doing, and they've massively increased their AOV, right? Another way to think about this is, when we're in, take your pick, the supermarket, the hardware store, the electronics store, and we're waiting in line and they snake us through those little aisles. I always like using the hardware store example because I'm there the most these days. So my house needs work, let's just say. I'm there a lot. So, what happens when you get through those little aisles in the hardware store? They're trying to sell us duct tape and water and ice cream and cell phone chargers and fly swatters and Lord knows what else, right? In a retail example. And the reason is that they're trying to increase their average order value. And what ends up happening? A lot of time we fall prey to that and we buy something we didn't even know we needed, right? Just because we were there. Because they had the target of opportunity of that person willing to take their credit card, i.e. us, out of their wallet and pay for something. So the same thing applies when you're selling art online. When they add something to the cart before they put in the credit card, you're supposed to make an offer. Do you want to add such and such to your order for such and such? Then, after they're done, on the order confirmation page, you say, hey, as a way of saying thanks for that purchase, here's such and such else. So one-click order bump, one-click upsells. We call them revenue boosters. Anyway, those are important. I don't know why I just went down that rabbit hole. Average order value. That's how you increase your average order value. Okay. The third way to grow an art photography business is based on the back of a universal truth, which is the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. Okay? The easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. It is significantly easier to get somebody to come back and purchase from you again than it is to go out and find a new customer for the first time. All right? So knowing that lets me get to the force multiplier of all force multipliers, which is as hard as this business is, okay, as much competition as there is, all the unique things that make being an artist or photographer so difficult, one of the blessings of it is that it has a thing called collectors, okay? I stole this from Weiland. I think everyone should buy this book. It's a very good book, like zero fluff, short, totally to the point. The bummer, and Weiland, by the way, is the whale guy. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Most people would say he's the best-selling artist in the United States, and it's not even close. That's basically because he owns like 25 galleries, right? And he does murals and everything else. He's absolutely huge. Anyway, the bummer is that you can't get it on Amazon because he's donating 100% of the charity, the proceeds to charity. So it's $22 book. You have to buy it from his website, but don't be a starving artist. I'm not kidding. This is a very good book. Weiland, okay, defines a collector as someone that will purchase an upwards of 7 pieces over the course of their life from him. Sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 50, but that's how he defines a collector. It is the most important aspect of any art or photography business. How many collectors the business has. Because what I see routinely with my customers is they keep creating, they keep raising their prices, and the collectors just go along for the ride. They just keep buying and buying and buying and buying. A way to think about it is collectors represent the base salary of any art or photography business. That's what you get. You get paid just for creating because you have cultivated these folks, okay? And most of them don't ever leave. They're there for life. And they'll just keep coming back and buying and buying and buying. And it's just, this, I don't even know what you would call it, a psychological thing, a fetishism, whatever the hell it is. It's awesome, right? Because if you find some of these guys and you get them, guys and gals, and get them to support you, they're going to be with you this whole period of time. So, okay, I told you I had to make these 2 points, right? I had to make the point about pricing, very important, and then I had to make the point about the only 3 ways to grow a business, right? All of that goes back to this notion of when you get buying questions, start selling conversations, okay? When you realize, number one, that the most important metric in your business is the number of collectors you have. The second most is the number of new customers you acquire, because in order for someone to become a collector, they first have to purchase something. They first have to purchase something, right? That's the path. So when you understand those fundamentals of this business, you're like, okay, my job is to acquire as many new customers as possible, which is why I have my range of pricing, right? Which is why I have non-wall art as a part of the lineup, because all of these folks, right, that will buy these things, and by non-wall art, I didn't touch on what that is. Quite frankly, I don't care what it is, okay? If you sign up with Art Storefronts, we give you the option to do like 50 different types of merch. Calendars, greeting cards, ornaments, stickers, yoga mats, tote bags, throw pillows, whatever. It doesn't matter. Do you. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it fits into the price range and it is non-wall art related, okay? Very, very important. One of the lovely things that I get all the time, the pushback from people, Guarantee it's in somebody's head on this thing right now. That cheap tchotchke stuff, merch, I would never sell that crap. It's going to lower everyone's opinion of me as a fine artist. They won't take me seriously. To which I am often found responding, tell me the last time any of you went into a museum that didn't have a gift shop. Don't worry, I'll wait. No one has. They all do. If Van Gogh's Starry Night can be on the wall and you can buy a damn Starry Night mouse pad, okay, Van Gogh's not losing any sleep over this. Technically, he's way asleep. But the point is, it doesn't lower anyone's opinion of you, okay? It is just a way to monetize things. When's the last time you went to a concert and they didn't have a merch booth, okay? Do you not like the Rolling Stones because they were selling T-shirts? No one cares. Get over it, okay? Stupid thing fine artists get in their head and infuriates me. Now, back to taking buying questions and turning them into selling conversations. This infuriates me too, because all the time you guys are getting this positive feedback. And like I said, it's in person, real life, and then it's also on the socials. And I keep getting this refrain all the time. Well, how many pieces have you sold? How are you doing? Have you sold any art to people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, family, friends? Well, no, I haven't. No, I haven't. I haven't done an in-person event. But, here's the but everyone tells me my work is great. Everyone tells me I'm so talented. Everyone tells me I should start a business. I'm getting all these likes and comments and shares on the various different socials. I got into a juried art show. So fundamentally, at the very bottom base layer, okay, when you get a buying question, you need to turn it into a selling conversation. So let's use an example, because I want all of you guys to start practicing this. I don't even need to see your heads nodding. I know all of you get that you are so talented all the time, right? So when you get those buying questions, say, thank you so much for that compliment. Just to let you know, all of these pieces are for sale. Which one are you interested in? Notice that awkward silence? Shut up after you say that. Train yourself to do that, and your business will fundamentally change. Thank you so much for that compliment. Just to let you know, everything, all of these pieces here are for sale. Which one are you interested in? And then shut up. The beauty of that simple little thing, and obviously you can do it in your own language, is you're instantaneously going to find out, number one, if this person is just really a nice person and they're flattering you and they're just being nice, okay? Or two, if they're genuinely interested in the art, right? And if they're genuinely interested in potentially purchasing something from you. And one of the fundamental tenets to being good at sales, and I know most of you guys, like I've been doing this for a long time, okay? If I asked everyone on this call to raise their hand, if there was a way that you guys could just create that art and not have to do anything else and have somebody all take care of all the rest and earn a wonderful income, how many of you would take that deal? All of you would. 100% of you hand up. That is the deepest, darkest desire of the whole thing, right? And so I know instinctively that artists and photographers are not good at taking buying questions and turning them into selling conversations. So if you can train yourself up to just ask the question, let them know immediately, all of this stuff's for sale. Oh, that piece is $400. Are you interested? Starting a conversation when those things come up instead of saying thank you. Little things like that make the biggest difference in this business, okay? Then what you find out is that when you actually have the range of pricing, you will not be met with the crushing defeat that comes when you get a lowball offer for something you spent 85 hours on, right? When you've created some incredible work. I mean, I look at this thing behind Raphael. I don't know how many hours he's into that, but he's probably not willing to sell that for $50, right? So, when you have the range for pricing and someone's like, you would sell this thing for $2,000 and you're like, yeah, which one are you interested in? And they're like, I'm interested in that one. Would you take $50 for it? That's normally like a crushing blow. Like, you son of a, how could you possibly say something to that? Like, it's defeating, right? But when you have the range of pricing, you can be like, yeah, well, that one's quite a bit more expensive than that, but I do have some things in that price range. Can I show them to you? Right? Do you see how that whole dynamic changes when you actually have the range of pricing? Also, when you have the range of pricing, you get a whole lot less of those lowball offers, because human beings, categorically, we are wired to make buying decisions based on comparison. We need to understand what things cost based on what we can compare them to, okay? And we usually anchor onto something that's really high priced and then go get something that's a little bit less lower priced, and feel good about it because we didn't get the higher price thing, right? That's why the range of pricing is so expensive. Okay, let's say you asked the buying question and you didn't have the commissions available. When you also have the commissions available and you're like, yeah, so here's the range of pricing on all my stuff, right? So let's just take the whole thing back again because rote and repetition is a thing. Your work is so beautiful, Eloise. It's amazing. This is so talented. You should sell it. Thanks, Patrick. Just to let you know, I've got a ton of it for sale. I've got everything from, $0 to $100, 100 to 1,000, some of my prints, limited editions, and I've got some originals starting at $2,000 up to 20, right? Whatever the case may be. In addition to that, I'm also open for commissions. I find that to be a really fun part of my business. And then shut up. When you're open for the commissions, you find out, do they want anything that you have, or are they willing to pay you money to create something that you haven't created yet before? And then you get an additional data point, okay, about what direction you should potentially go in, about a new niche you could do. I mean, look, it might be for a portrait of their dog, and you have no interest in doing a damn portrait for the dog, but at least you know, right? At least you know, at least you got that feedback, at least you got that intel. And if you get enough of the doggone dog portraits, pun intended, I suppose, doggone dog portraits, then it might be time to do that business, right? It might be time to get into that business. But either way, now that we have the range of pricing, now that we have the non-wall art, now that we are opening ourselves up for commissions, you have all of these ways to extend the conversation and get to the bottom of these people want to actually buy your art, okay, or if they're just flattering you. And once you start training yourself to do this, you'll find that you're going to open way more conversations. And it doesn't matter whether you're doing this in person and selling, or whether you're at a show or a fair, or whether you're applying to social media comments when they make those buying. This is so beautiful. It reminds me of such and such. Oh my goodness, I've traveled there before. It was wonderful. Let them know, let them know, let them know, let them know, and then shut up, right? See whether or not they come back. You just train yourself to do that, and you contemplate the hundreds of times, what should be hundreds of times that you're getting all of those questions. My position is your business will fundamentally change. It'll fundamentally change. It's not easy to do, though. You guys don't like it. It does not come easy to you. You're not comfortable doing it most of the time. I know. It's not easy to do. So like anything else, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, right? Practice. So that's my rant for the day. I'm glad I recorded it. And by the way, I've got to play it for my customers too. And I play it for my customers all the time because you need to hear it again and again and again and again, right? You need to train yourself into being confident sales folks, right? Okay. That aside, how do we do the Q&A? One, for you brave ones, okay, that have your cameras on, I appreciate you. And Miguel, eyes on the road. Eyes on the road. So what I love about Zoom in today's day and age, right? Like, I always tell this story, but I once had a guy in the UPS truck, and he had the UPS uniform on, and he had his cell phone mounted above the wheel, and he was driving, asking questions. He'd be like, pull up to a house, and he'd be like, hold on. And he would run and get the package, and then he'll go run in and deliver the package and then come back in and do it. But I'm old. I grew up with the Jetsons, and, the promise of the Jetsons that we would have, like, video phones, and now we really do have them. Anyway, so, okay. If you have your camera on, you have a question, you can raise your hand old school style. I'll see that. I can unmute you, bring you on. For everyone else, at the bottom of the Zoom window, there's this little smiley face thing. Can you see it? I'm mousing over it right now. That's as big as I can show it. It says reactions. If you click that, it gives you a way to raise your hand digitally speaking. You can see Raymond's done it and Caitlin's done it already. And that lets me know, that you have a question. And then I just move down the list. You can ask me anything about anything. Raymond, you're the first one up today. Go ahead. And Raymond, I appreciate your hanging plant game back there, my brother. I love it.
Well, it looked like hair growing out of my head.
I love it. I love it. I'm telling you, I've got hanging plants all over my house. You gotta.
Oh, okay.
You gotta have the urban jungle.
Right. I feel like I know you. I see you on my brand new iPad that I got for Father's Day. So.
Oh, congrats, man! Happy Father's Day, belated Father's Day.
All right, thank you. All right, my first question. I'm not a part of the art storefront yet, but I like it. I like everything. But I'm broke right now. The question is, when I have my website and it looks real pretty and everything, where is it? Do you guys expose my website to customers so that I could get my art sold? or does it hang out there in the
on the
media
worldwide
land?
webs? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's your website. It lives on your domain, but we build it and we host it for you. And then we teach you how to drive traffic to it. In addition to that, we also have a service that will do some of the marketing for you. But
Right.
ultimately, the responsibility of getting eyeballs there is yours. Okay.
Okay.
And that's important to know, because there is nothing that I'm aware of that's at all successful where you just throw your work up on the thing and all of a sudden sales come running in, right? It's the dream.
Mm-hmm.
It's the dream. It's just not the reality, right? So
Right.
we teach our customers to do that all year long, and we're part technology company, the website, all the bells and whistles, and then we're part postgraduate university that just teaches our customers how to build businesses all year long, week in, week out, all year long.
Okay. I know the last time I asked a question and you said it'd be better to start. You could start with one.
Yeah,
but
one piece. Yeah.
Ultimately, is there a formula that's better to maybe have 3 or 4 or 7?
Yeah. No. The larger point about, and the question he's asking for context is, how many pieces do I need to get started, right? And I answer this question always the same way. One is all it takes to get started. And the reality is that everybody says, I'll just get started when I have 5 pieces, when I have 10 pieces, when I get my business license, when I open the bank account, when I find out what my niche is, when I get my logo design. And then the minutes turn into hours, turn into days, turn into weeks, turn into months. How's that art business coming? No forward progress whatsoever. That's number one. Number two, the only thing that you need is to get the work in front of people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, family, friends, and find out whether or not it'll sell. Any time that you waste not doing that, you don't know if the art will sell. You might be working on 7 pieces of the same series and nobody wants it. You need to get it the minute that thing is done and the paint is dry or the photo is printed. You need to get it in front of eyeballs, right? Because we need to find out whether or not you're on the right track. So that's always the advice that I give in that capacity.
Okay. All right. I might have to come back to you.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be here. You just raise your hand again. Okay. Caitlin, you're up next, and then Miguel, come to you.
Hi.
Hi.
I hope you can hear me.
I sure can.
I'm not sure if all of you are from the US, but I'm from Hungary, from Europe. So I'm really happy to be here among you. And I just found your website 2 days ago. And I'm really just launching. So I just have uploaded my first video to my YouTube channel today. So I'm a really starter and I would like to do my paintings, my fluid art paintings, to a full-time job soon. And yeah, what else? What's important? So my purpose would be to ship paintings also to Hungary and around Hungary to the neighboring countries and so like Western Europe also and the US.
Yes.
I have a lot of questions, so I'm really a starter. So you will see it on my questions. First of all, if could you recommend me a collaboration with you and me? So like. If I would like to build a website also for, all over the world, not only for Europe, not only for the US, but what is also important for me, I would like to have my paintings delivered in safety to the US from Europe. So
yes. So we have the majority of our customers are in the United States and Canada, but we've got customers spread throughout Europe. We have some in Asia, we have some in Africa, we have some in Australia, we have some in New Zealand. And the way that you navigate sort of the shipping thing, big picture, is one, if it's originals, that's obvious, right? If it's an original, it's incumbent upon you're the one that has it. You have to be the one to ship it, right? The good news is that on originals, art has not been Amazonified yet. And what do I mean by that? With Amazon, the expectation on everything now is that everything ships for free, right? That is not the expectation with art. People do not automatically think and assume that art will just ship for free and that's how it's going to go. And thank God for that. So the point is, I have 10,000 customers selling hundreds of thousands of dollars of art combined every single solitary month. And almost no one has to give free shipping. Like some people decide to do it as a way to, stick out, but you don't have to do that. So that's number one. So if it's originals, you're going to have to ship them. DHL ships everywhere. That's just part of this industry. For the prints, it becomes a different story. It's easier, right? Like we integrate with a printer on the West Coast, a printer on the East Coast. They're more or less the same. One's Bay Photo, the other one's called Graphic Dimensions. Probably don't know the names. It doesn't matter. But they both do, $35, $40 million a year in business. And why do I bring that number up? When they do that much business, they get very inexpensive rates with UPS or FedEx. And so we pass those savings on to our customers, which is kind of cool. So you can use them to ship anywhere in the United States, anywhere in Canada, and anywhere in Europe if you want. Or you could find a local printer in Europe to service all of your European orders, right? Like, my customers in Australia and New Zealand, if they get an order from Australia or New Zealand or Asia, they will take care of it themselves, whether it's a print or an original. And then anything that's shipping in the other hemisphere, in the northern hemisphere, will ship for them, right? So that's some of the ways that you can do it. But you know what I find in this business it's hard to do? Sell the art. Do you know what's not hard to do? Everything else, including shipping. Everybody always gets so wound up on the shipping and how am I going to get this shipping here and how am I going to get that shipping there? Don't worry about that. Cross that bridge when you get to it. The only thing that matters is selling the work. Everything else is really easy after that, right? Including the shipping. So that's how I'd respond.
Thank you. So my next question would be, so I'm just considering, actually, I was checking some pages in the last days and I was really amazed by your web page and all the functions and the wallpaper view and also the live view on the phone when you can just put the painting into your own room. So I have never seen such a functionality on other pages, actually. And I really would like to have a high quality homepage for me. I'm just starting to build it like in July, so soon. And I'm just considering WordPress and your company. So could you tell me the prices or like around the price, which packages you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I should say too is that like one of the things that we do is we call them it's a demo. Those are the buttons that are all over our website, like request a demo, request a demo. I think it's a stupid term personally, but whatever. It's a 1-hour Zoom call essentially with someone from our team that will walk you through all the software, all the bells, the whistles, the packages, show you on a screen share all the features, the inside and everything else. And that's just kind of how we do things. So I recommend you do that regardless. But in terms of pricing, we're nowhere near the cheapest guys out there, even close, actually. What we sort of realized, we've been doing this for like 10 years now. And we started out with websites, and that wasn't enough because we didn't have successful customers because no one has a website problem. Then we started teaching our customers how to market, providing education on, how to run a live art show, how to run a sale, how to email market, how to post on Instagram. Okay, great, all that. Then we started doing Zoom classes, kind of like this one, 5 to 6 days a week, where we get our customers in there, we teach them all of these things. Then we support our customers with Zoom calls and chats and tickets and all of that with anything that they get stuck on. And now, in the last 6 months, we launched a new program where we're starting to do some of the marketing for our customers, okay? So we have all of these things going on. There's a lot. But how we charge, we're one part technology company, we're one part university that teaches you how to market and build your business. You pay a one-time fee to get into the university, and then you pay a monthly fee for your website. The one-time fee to get into the university, I believe, is like $1,500, $1,600, something like that. And then the monthly fees on the websites, I think, are $49.59 or $69 or $39, $49, $59. They could tell you exactly on the demo. And a lot of times people see those prices and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's so expensive! Like you're so much more expensive than your competitor." We do about 1,000 more things than any of our competitors do. It's not even close, and we don't ever stop doing them. And ultimately, we realize that if we don't get our customers regularly and consistently marketing, they're never going to be successful, and that's the hardest thing to do of all of it.
Okay, thank you for the detailed answer. And maybe my last question would be, if you could help me, how I could book a website for me. I was just checking the website names, and I found one which is matching my artist name, so-called. And I saw an option to book it via WordPress, but I'm not sure if that's also transferable to another hosting
I
company.
wouldn't use WordPress. I'd use GoDaddy.
Mm-hmm.
GODADDY.
Yep.
I'll put it in the chat, and the URL, right? And so let's say it's CaitlinMArt.com. That needs to be yours. You need to own that forever because you never know how many different places you might take it. Once you own it in an account, then you can decide one day you can be with WordPress. Next year you could be with Squarespace. Then maybe you're with us, and then maybe so it's just a best practice. So I would set up an account at GoDaddy and buy it there.
Okay, thank you.
It's only like $12 or something like that to get one. So
yeah, this was not an expensive one. I also saw expensive ones which was bought by someone, I guess.
Yeah.
But this one was quite cheap.
Yeah,
so,
just get the cheap
right.
one. Don't buy one of those expensive ones. It's not worth it.
Okay, thank you for the answers. Thanks a lot.
Thanks again. Okay, Miguel, you're up next.
Myself. Hi, everybody from Portland, Oregon. I'm Miguel G. Mosler from Behind the Scene Media. What I need from you is to contact me because I'm being stable for almost 10 years. It's a website. I never done the website, do the technological and all style, always go to my clients. Yeah, working with film companies, in the news, with other organization, museums. But they always asking me, you need to establish a website. Afraid is that I have experience that people stealing idea from my website in the past when I was in school. Yeah, I promised to myself never to do one. But now the government, the private company, my client request me to have one. Yeah, I need somebody to help me to build it. So see, you can, that's what I need from the website. Marketing, everything I've been done due to the institutes of Oregon, Puerto Rico, in Germany. That's one most of my business is. In South America. What each asked me is me get clear a website only to put you who you are. I need somebody in your company to contact me behind the scene media or call me directly that we can work it out.
Okay. ¿Y quiere alguien que puedan hablar español mejor o no?
Oh, I speak English or Spanish, but the Spanish help you. We love. But my language is German, English, and Spanish.
German, English, and Spanish. Okay. Well, I don't have anyone that speaks German, but we definitely have some guys that speak Spanish. So that's what I'll do. I'll have somebody contact you, Miguel.
Okay. I have to leave because in location for filming, but I wanted to contact you before we leave.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to write your name down, and I'll make sure somebody follows up with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a good time.
Yeah, you too. All right, it's going to go Dorit and then Gabriel. Go ahead, Dorit.
Okay, can you hear me?
I certainly can. How you doing?
The first gentleman, you told the first gentleman that we have to take care of our website to promote it, if I understood well. Now, I know that there is a maintenance fee every month. So I wonder if it's not including maintenance.
Oh, yeah, we take care of all the maintenance. You don't have to do any of that.
So it's including. How do I get to the first page on Google?
Yeah, so depends.
Are you
No, it depends on what you're going to put into the website, right? Like, if I was to look at your name right now, right, and your name's Dorit Izini, is that what it is?
Kind of. It's Ioni.
Ioni. Okay. If I put that into a search engine, what comes up now? Have you looked?
Right now, nothing, because I don't have a website. And
yeah. So the point I'm making in all of that is sometimes if your name is unique, as soon as your website goes live, you're likely to be the first result because there's not anything else going on, right? Sometimes there's a lot of competition. If there's a lot of competition, then you might not ever be the first result on Google because SEO is kind of like really, really hard to do. And everyone thinks that you just magically, put your name up and boom, you appear in Google, and that's just not the way that it works. But hold on, I'm going to type your name in and I'll put it on the screen because I'm curious. I want to see. Let's see what's up there. So in your case, And I didn't get that spelling right. That's right, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Let's see what comes up. So right now, is this you, the art consultant?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, LinkedIn comes in. Then it looks like your Instagram. So I think you have such a unique name that, yes, your website will be the #1 result probably in like 3 months. But that's not the case for most people, right? Like your name's super unique. There's a lot of people that have, the name Bob Smith, and there's going to be 55 pages of somebody else, and they're not going to be on the front page. So it really comes down to what your name is and what the keywords are.
Okay.
Sorry, I had that wrong person unmuted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask regarding how it works with the print on certain items.
Mm-hmm. So we have the printers that you can pick from, right? And we use Bay Photo on the West Coast, and we use a place called Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast, and then we have an additional partner called Guten for merch. And the way that it works is an order comes in, you get paid, the printer gets paid, the printer prints it, boxes it, ships it, puts your logo on the side, and then ships it to the customer. You don't have to touch anything at all. They take care of absolutely all of it. And that's how that works. There's no minimums, no anything else. It's all print on demand.
So I just have to pick an item.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, once you upload your work, you say, okay, I want this to be on acrylic, metal, canvas, and a fine art paper. I also want to sell, I might as well show you. Hold on. We'll make it a little bit easier.
But what about abstract? It's also because yesterday I had dinner and I spoke with an interior designer, and she said abstract is not good for cups or costes or
yeah, that's total nonsense. That's utter, total, and complete nonsense. I hate people that say that. The people that say that, I honestly, I want to show up at their front door and, take my glove off and whack them and then go pistols at dawn. Okay? Typical bullshit advice. What no one understands is, it's not just about the art. Okay? You, okay, are just as much a part of the art and the brand as the art is. They're equal measure. People don't just get bonded to what an image looks like. They get bonded to what makes you tick, what you're interested in, where you're from originally, your unique creative eye. Are you a dog lady or a cat lady? Do you like to go to Europe on trips? What makes you tick? What makes you interesting? They bond with you on that level just as much as they do on the artwork level, okay? And so it's not about, no one's going in to search abstract coasters. Probably not. Maybe some are. I don't care. It's irrelevant. But it has to do with people that follow you and like what you do, and as such will buy things from you. That's how it goes.
Yeah, but when it comes to print, do you suggest the price, or I have to give the price? You suggest the price.
We set guidelines, but you can do it any way you like.
So what are the average for, let's say,
250% markup on the wholesale cost?
Okay, even a big size, like 48 by 48 or 250.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we basically we advise, and some people adjust it a little bit, but I don't think you have to. I don't think you should. What the wholesale cost is to you, like if you went to the printer, this is what the printer would charge you. Mark it up 250%, and that's what you sell it for retail. And the reason 250%, because a lot of times you're going to end up having to negotiate. And if you do have to negotiate and you have to take 5 or 10 or 15 or 20% off, well, it doesn't matter because you've already marked it up 250%, right? So that's important.
So I am paying for the print, each print. I have to pay for it.
Well, no. If the order comes in, they paid for it. But yes, you pay for the wholesale cost that it costs to print the thing. And then your profit is whatever you charged for it above the wholesale cost. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
I understand exactly how it works.
Yeah. So, okay, let's say I'm on this website, right? And I'm going to buy this thing on Chris Farley, okay? And let's just say it's Chris Farley here, okay? I'm going to get it on metal, and what size do I want? I'm going to get it 33 by 48. Okay, it's $1,000. So to print this, Dora, your cost is probably like $300 or $250. So you owe $250 to the printer, and you get to keep the rest, right? But the printer needs to be paid. Now, if someone bought it, then they're paying it. You're not paying for it, but I guess technically you're paying it. I mean, we're talking about semantics at this juncture, right?
Oh, I got you. So the money that comes to the cashier, let's call it,
Yes.
goes to the printer and then to myself.
Same time, yeah.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds pretty unique.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Thank you.
And then I'm just curious because I've never heard your last name before. Where are you from originally?
You mentioned it, Israel.
Oh, from Israel. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I live in California. I live in Palm Desert, Palm Springs area.
Nice. I'm in Newport Beach, and I'm out there all the time because my mother-in-law lives on Cook Street in Indian Wells.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm out there all the time. Okay. Thanks, Doug. Oh. I'm reading the wrong people. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, Gabrielle, you're up next. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, Patrick?
I got you.
All right. First of all, thank you so much for the podcast. I enjoy those. I live here in sunny San Diego.
Oh, I miss San Diego. So, I still have the 619 area code that I won't let go of, okay? I went to school.
Nice.
I went to school at UCSD. I love it down there. I wanted to stay down there. Tried to stay down there, and I got pulled back home.
That's too bad. It's nice up in Newport, too. But my question for you is, do you have an optimized feedback for like subject matter, like for your artists, like what's hot, what's not? I know you've spent a lot of time on this website building, marketing. I've enjoyed, like I said, the podcast, but I've never heard of like, are you giving your artists feedback? Like, I really love how you talk about when to hit the market. But is there a certain feedback that we have for optimized subject matter?
Yes. Yeah. And the long and the short is, and everyone always asks us, like, the only feedback that matters is, did this exchange hands? No other feedback matters. I don't care. You don't care. No one cares. The only thing that matters is the work sells, right? So if the work is selling, that's the ultimate feedback. If it's not, that's when it's time to contemplate new subject matter materials, right? But one of the things that I've learned over the years is that out of my 10,000 customers, there's probably, I'll be generous, 500 that have an utter, total, and complete nailed down niche where all they do is one thing, and you know it instantaneously. The minute you see their work, you're like, that's a so-and-so, right? The majority of the rest of them are constantly experimenting with different subject matter materials. And I think if you look throughout history, you would probably make an argument that the most successful artists in the world always have and always does. And this is just the nature of the game, right? So what we teach you is one of three scenarios happens. You create what you like, what inspires you, you know, what blows your hair back. This is what I love to do, right? This is what I create. And one of three things happens. It doesn't sell at all, crickets. It sells, but it's not really hitting the revenue targets that you have envisioned for your business, or it sells like gangbusters, right? Third is the most, happens the least, right? Oftentimes, all the time, it will sell, but it's not selling as much as you would like it to, right? And maybe the addressable market is not big enough. Maybe the competition is too much, whatever. Or it's not selling at all. All totally normal, right? Like, you've heard me give this line 1,000 times. Like, Pablo Picasso, when he died, had 45,000 unsold works in his inventory. Like, I could have sold a piece of Kleenex with his signature on it. 45,000 unsold works. He didn't know he's hit a home run. He didn't know the product didn't know he's moved for him. One of the greatest artists of all time, right? So when you realize that it's really rather freeing, and your whole entire job is just to constantly be trying different subject matter materials such that you can get a huge hit. And it really comes down to reps and sets. And so one of the things that we teach our customers how to do is how to quick cycle, create the thing, Go and get feedback. Are you on the right track? Can you sell anything? Can you do it again? And one of the interesting ways to think about it is do the entire program in reverse. Okay. And this is not something most people really, it's really, really hard thing to wrap your head around. But instead of, I'm going to create this thing because it inspires me, and then I'm going to go try and sell it. What if you reversed that entire process and said, I'm going to go find a tribe of lunatics that I know are so diehard about this subject matter material, and then I'm going to create something that they love and work that way, right? And the easiest example is like, you know, Green Bay Packers fans buy their body weight, okay, in Green Bay Packers related swag on a yearly basis, right? Like, I've been to multiple Chargers games, okay, at the Q or whatever they used to call it. I mean, there's been Jack Murphy and then Qualcomm, where those guys have the cheese heads on, the gear on, everything. They make the Chargers fans look ridiculous, right? Those are some raving lunatics. If you could just create some Green Bay Packer inspired art, you know you would have an audience. They're easy to get, right? But it doesn't have to be that. It can be anything, right? It's just a way of thinking and working backwards. And when I went over the commissions part of it, it's so important to be open for commissions, because that's a way you discover. That's an additional way you discover of a subject matter material where someone's holding their credit card above their head and going, look, I love what you do, but I don't want any of that. I want this. And that's a great way to get ideas, right? So everyone in their life has these various different interests, right? Like, everyone hears the advice and they're like, ooh, I've got to go sell out. You know, like, you know, I don't like this particular musician or this pop culture thing or this. No, you don't have to do that. Find something that you're super interested in, see if there's a big enough audience there, and go take some shots, right? And so we've got internally a whole program that we teach on that and that specifically. But a hack that you could do today, go today as soon as you get off this call on Instagram and Facebook and go, guys, somebody challenged me to open myself up for commissions. I'm willing to do a commission on any topic that you want, and I'm doing it for a cheap price. Let me know what it is in the comments below. And then shut up and see what happens. And you'll be amazed. It is a fantastic way to get ideas. Even if you don't want to do it, it's a fantastic way to get ideas. Helpful? I muted you probably.
Thanks so much. We got the gardeners out here making a bunch of noise.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I know how it goes.
But yeah, thank you so much. That was very helpful, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. And just as a final, what part of SD you in?
City Heights.
City Heights?
Over in, sorry, not City Heights. University Heights over in North Park.
Okay, University Heights, nice. I was UCSD freshman year, then I went north for a little bit, and then I finished my stint in PB. But boy, I enjoyed every minute of it. All right, thanks, everyone. All right, Dort, you're back. It looks like you have a follow-up question. Yeah, please.
You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My question is, if on the website, it's, let's say I want to sell a cup, do I have a demo with that so people see that, or how it works?
What do you mean you have a demo of that? Like, what do you mean by that?
On like or you do Photoshop or something on the on my website, like a photo, let's say for a cup.
No, you just essentially open up, you know, you, like, I'll use a Chris Farley example. You basically just upload your main image, and then you decide which of these various different things that you want to offer. And then after you decide what it is that you want to offer, you're kind of able to, in your back end, set like the parameters of what it looks like on the cup. Like, you know, sometimes you have to do some cropping there, right?
I have to do that?
Well, yeah, you do need to do that, because otherwise, if it just happens automatically on its own, then you get smiley face Chris Farley with half his head cut off, right? Which is not what you want to have done, right?
It's for me, part of the...
And sometimes it works out perfectly, but on some items it doesn't, right? Like, you know, it just sort of depends. But you can go through and you can cycle through and decide which things that you want to offer and which things you necessarily don't want to offer. And then you can decide if it works for each individual piece, turn it on, turn it off. You know, some images are perfect for some things, some aren't. So that's how it goes.
So I can try it at home and see what works and
yeah, of course,
play with it. I understand. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, that's what you want, right? Like you want the level of control to make sure it's, you know, matches up to your expectations.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fred. All right. Caitlin's got a follow up. Go ahead, Caitlin. I can't hear you this time. I'm trying to unmute you again.
Now?
Yeah, I got you.
Thanks. All right, thanks. So I have a last question. Could you please confirm to choose a .com domain and not a .io or not a .art, for example? But is that right to choose a .com?
Yes, I think you should. I mean, it doesn't really matter in today's day and age. Like, you know, a long time ago, .com was really, really important, and some people would say, some people would say that it still is, but nowadays, like, it doesn't really matter. It honestly doesn't. I would get a .com if I could, but you know, there's some other ones that are cool too. No one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's oftentimes they're going to type your name into Google and they're going to try and find it that way. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. You.
Yeah. And hold on, Gabriel. I want to get you exact text. Where is it? Hold on. Guys, bear with me for just a second. I want to help him, and I want to pull something. I want to pull the language that we were using. That's exact. Let's see, where the heck is it? Do this. I want you to email me because I'm not going to show it to everybody. I got you, Kit. Don't worry. I don't want everyone to see it, and I especially don't want the live stream to see it. But email me, patrick@artstorefronts.com, and I'll send it to you directly. Okay. I'm gonna go Raphael, then I'll get back to you, Raymond. Go ahead. Oh, you gotta unmute, Raphael. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you now.
So, good afternoon. Thank you very much for this podcast.
Oh, thanks.
I wanted to ask you, you mentioned printing on metal.
Yes.
And what type of metal are we talking about there?
Oh, we have like 500 different options.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, like if you go into Bay Photo's website. Oh, that's funny. When you were really small, I thought that was a work of art behind you. Now I see it's a mirror. I thought it was a painting. There's like they have a whole bunch of different ones. There's the inexpensive ones, and then there's the high-end ones, and then in between.
I've been printing on aluminum. It's like airplane aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
Really high quality, very straight.
Yeah.
And it allows me to be large and very light. So that's one option, or
Yes.
no?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll have to see like sometimes there's like some weird specific niche, media types that some people get. Like I've got one guy that like mandates that he orders all of his prints from Germany because they got into his head that's the most important branding thing. But we have most of the main normal on offer stuff for sure. And in my experience, like the customers do not know the difference and are not educated on it in the slightest. And so it's totally incumbent upon the artist to teach them what the various different types are and what are unique about each of them. Like, one of the things that I pretty much like make all of my customers do right when they get signed up, and I might as well grab what I have here. Just bear with me for the silence for a sec. My damn kids these days, I always seem to be missing one. But this is like a stack. Everyone should know what the 5 main media types are and have a stack like this to be able to show at all times. The beautiful thing is, like, I think we get this entire order done for our customers for like $202 or $203 or something, where you get all 5. I'm obviously missing one, but it's helpful to be able to say, like, this is what a metal looks like, right? That's what it looks like on the back. It's easy to hang. It's very thin.
Mm-hmm.
You can zoom in and show the details.
How do I open the screen here?
Yeah. So view in the upper right-hand corner, and then speaker is probably what you need to do.
Oh, view.
Yeah.
Got
speaker,
it.
Yep. But anyway, the point is that like no consumer has any damn idea, by and large, metal versus wood and what a wood print looks like versus a gallery wrap, and the fact that it doesn't need a frame, and the fact that it's printed on the edges, right? Versus a paper print. And normally I have an acrylic one here too, but I have small children that really screw with my props here. So anyway, I pound into my head for all of my customers to have that pile, take that pile with them every time they deliver an order in person, right? Be able to articulate and show the differences. Like, you know, oh, you're gonna hang these things in the bathroom. Well, given the condensation, I think you should get either acrylic or metal, right? Don't get canvas because the water could get on. These types of questions, like, you got to be the subject matter expert. You know, you got to be.
Mm.
Yeah.
So on the printing for aluminum, what's the max size, or how do they do oversize? That's
a good question. I mean, how many oversized orders are you getting? Really, is the question, right?
Well, I have one particular print that people have been, buying from me personally. It's an image of the Hollywood sign that I took in an odd angle that turned it into kind of an iconic view. And because it's the Hollywood sign, I do it big.
Huge, yeah.
I've been doing 60 by 30 by 42, I think, is the format.
Where do you get that printed now?
Art Services in West Hollywood, on Almont Street.
Yeah. I'm sure Bay Photo does it. I would look on Bay Photo's website and see if you can match it up.
So just in terms of large size, that's been a good seller for me here. Of course, I'm in Hollywood, so but I'm just interested to know some of the landscapes I'm doing are equally valid for large scale. So it's critical how they do like sometimes they have to join two pieces together.
Yeah. That's where it gets sticky. What I would probably do in that scenario, like, you have total flexibility, right? Whether you use art printers or whether you self-fulfill, right? So you can do it on an item by item basis. And
so when a fulfillment like this one comes through, do you know where the aluminum would be done? I mean, where that type of...
I think if they're joining pieces and you have a printer that's already doing it, knowing how complicated that is, I would just get the order, look at my email, look at it, forward it to them, and say, ship it. You have my credit card on file. That's how I would handle those. I wouldn't, if you've got a great relationship with those guys and they already know how to do it, and especially because they all have the same machines and they only go so big, right? So if you're going bigger than that, that's when the joining comes in. Then it gets dicey. I wouldn't even use our people for that. I would use yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. And two, it's like, in an emergency, you can pop down there if you need to, right? On some of those bigger pieces, bigger deals, it's worth it. So I think that's probably a good way to go.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Raphael. All right. Circling back, Raymond, go ahead.
All right. I'm in the mix. You can hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. All right. I'm not so computer savvy at 73 years old, unless my wife is here.
Yeah.
All right. So I get some non-wall art, like a cup or a basket or, anything like that. And I have maybe one of my pieces printed on there. And then I'll say, like, I'm going to give away this cup if somebody purchased this or that, blah, 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 blah. Who does that on my website? I have to do it, or you guys offer that service? And am I charged for that?
Yeah, no, we do it.
Oh, that's part of the service? Okay. So you're saying it really is a good idea to start thinking about some of these other things to have in my repertoire, I would say.
Absolutely.
Like cups or basket or pocketbooks.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't even matter what it is. I mean, there are some that I think are better than others, right? Because people use it, more often. But the important takeaway is just something non-wall art related that's $100 or less. You have that, you're gonna acquire more.
Yeah, I agree. I think so, especially with the ladies, because my niche right now, women like it. It's butterflies, right? And they just love that. I don't care, even if I do a crappy looking one, they want it. But I got exposure to the world. Okay, thanks a lot. That's good stuff.
Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate it. All right. I'm running out of gas, guys. So if you got any finals. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Kit. I forgot. Don't worry. I got you. Go ahead, Kit.
these prints that we're talking about are all G clays. Is that correct?
Yeah. So G Clay is, I've been in this business for a long time, and the founder of our company started a company called Breathing Color, which is like one of the biggest manufacturers of fine art canvas in the world. So all of it is just inkjet prints, but inkjet prints doesn't sound very sexy. So somebody said, we'll call them G Clays, which is French for the spattering of ink, which is all nonsense at the end of the day. But yeah, they are all G Clays. Yes.
You give it a French name, it'll sell.
Of course. Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, I actually do fine art prints. I do etchings and lithographs.
Amazing.
So none of this really applies. That's another price point, but it's a different kind of shipping situation.
For sure it is. But there's still value in them. I mean, that's how it was back in the day before G Clays happened, right? It was all lithographs or serigraphs or the like, and it just helps you extend your price range, right? And you go back to my earlier point about like why the range is so important. Like, okay, you offer G Clays as a way to step people up to understanding why the lithographs are so expensive, right? And your prints could go from $1,000 to $2,000 or $100 to $2,000, and then the lithographs could start at $2,000 and go to $10,000, right? But at least you'll be able to more easily step people up there in the value proposition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. I'm going to the grid view just in case I missed anyone else with their hand up. Anyone else? Finals before we go? Did you get what I sent you, Gabriel? Good. Copy it verbatim and don't give it to anyone else. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate all of you hanging in, sticking it out with me to the end. I'm going to send you a replay that'll have a bunch of links. I have a super in-depth guide on how to price your art, which is awesome. Totally recommend you read that. I'm going to send that to you as a follow-up, a couple other goodies and little knickknacks and such. And I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your week.